Hello and welcome to part 2. If you have not watched part 1, then I don't know why you're watching a video with the words clearly part 2 in it first. Go ahead and watch that one and then come back here. This requires you to know how to find the sign of pi over 4. So, recommendation to you, you are looking at a unit circle. If you cannot tell me what the sign of pi over 4 is right now, pause video, can you tell me what the sign of pi over 4 is? If you cannot, then go back and watch the first video again. There's no point in doing this video right now. What is the sign of pi over 4? Pi over 4, sign is the y value. The answer is the square root of 2 over 2. Test number 2 to see if you're ready for this video. Can you tell me what the cosine of 225 degrees is? What is the cosine of 225 degrees? 225 degrees. Cosine is the x value, so that is the x value, and that is the answer. All right, now if you're good and ready, let's get on to the cool stuff. And by cool stuff, I mean mathematical algebra stuff that has nothing to do with the unit circle, because we already did that in the previous one. I just made up some examples. These are what we're going to be doing on a separate sheet of paper right here, so you guys can see easier. And it's just basically the algebra behind what things could happen. For instance, the first one I want to do is tangent of pi over 6. So if you go to pi over 6, right over here, it's this one right there. Square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. Square root of 3 over 2, comma, 1/2. That is the ordered pair. Tangent. Tangent is y over x, the y value divided by the x value. This is x and this is y. So y is 1/2 divided by x, which is root 3 over 2. This video is all about the algebra of simplifying. So you have a fraction divided by a fraction. In order to do that, you do something that I call keep, change, flip. A lot of people call it that too. So keep, change, flip means you keep this 1/2 the same, you change this to a multiply, and you flip this upside down. So instead of root 3 over 2, it's 2 over root 3. So you flip that upside down. To simplify, this is multiplying. These 2's can just cancel, and you end up with 1 over root 3. But this you can rationalize the denominator. Since you have a root 3 in the bottom, you multiply the top and bottom by root 3, so you'd get the square root of 3 over root 3 times root 3 is a regular 3. And that is the final answer. That is what you would put on any test or any time you're trying to communicate with someone about math. The tangent of pi over 6 is root 3 over 3. Done. Anything else is not completely simplified. Excuse me. Number 2. Let us go on to the cosecant of pi. Boop. So, just like before, you're going to look over here at pi. That's the ordered pair, -1, comma 0. Cosecant, the reciprocal of cosecant. What is the reciprocal of cosecant? Is it sine or cosine? Cosecant, reciprocal of sine, which is the y value. So we're going to take the y value and flip it upside down, right? Because cosecant's the reciprocal. Reciprocal means flip upside down. So the y value is 0. So we need to take its reciprocal. So 0 is technically over 1. So then when you flip it upside down, it's 1 over 0. The thing is, you can't divide 1 by 0. It's undefined. And that's going to be the answer. Cosecant of pi, there is no cosecant of pi. It's just going to say answer. If you don't believe me, because, 1 over, and then it's sine of 0. Boop. There you go. Can't divide by 0, right? Reciprocal, that's why I put the 1 over, but there you go. It doesn't work. Sometimes you just get no answer, undefined. Third one I'd like to do for y'all is the secant of 150 degrees. Once again, 150 degrees, you search and search for it. there it is, 150 degrees. So at 150 degrees, the ordered pair is this thing. And secant is the reciprocal of cosine, which is the x value. So we're going to take this x value, negative root 3 over 2, and because it is secant, we're going to do its reciprocal. So it'll be a 2 over root 3 with a negative sign. Oof, I'll zoom in a bit for y'all. Okay, so you flipped it upside down. Once again, you do have to rationalize this denominator. So multiply by root 3 over root 3, and you would get 2 root 3 on top. And on bottom, root 3 times root 3 is a regular 3 again. So secant of 150 degrees, simplified, is 2 root 3 over 3. Okay, just 3 more. You excited? I know you're excited. Sine of negative 405 degrees. Oh boy, oh boy. So that's going to be a negative number as well as negative in that no, it is not actually on the unit circle. Oh no. So you have to do coterminal angles, which is a couple of video ago I did it. Basically, anytime you have an angle, you can get a coterminal angle by adding or subtracting 360 degrees from it, or if it's in radians, 2 pi radians from it. Now, this obviously is in degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and add or subtract 360. But, I'm not going to add and subtract it. I only want this to become positive, so I'm just going to add 360 to it and cross my fingers. Negative 405 plus 360 equals negative 45 degrees. So this is the same thing as the sine of negative 45 degrees, which, some of you might be able to logic out where negative 45 degrees is. If this is 45, then that's 45. This would be negative 45, but just in case, you can always just add 360 again. A little bit of paranoia never hurt anybody. Well, maybe it did. But okay, 315 degrees. So now we can change it to 315 degrees. Now, 350 degrees. Haha, we got this ordered pair right there. So, root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. So, sine, is that the x value or the y value? It's the y value. This is the y value, so the answer is negative root 2 over 2. Cha-ching! 2 more problems to go. No, you're getting anxious now. Oh, what could these ones have that the others didn't? Oh, who knows? Who knows? I do, because I made them. Cotangent of 11 pi over 4. Once again, if you try looking at the pi over 4s, it goes to 7 pi over 4. There is no 11 pi over 4. It is too big. So just like in the previous problem, we're going to have to add or subtract 360 or 2 pi. This one's in radians, so it's going to have to be 2 pi. This number is too big. Because it's too big, we're going to subtract 2 pi. So 11 pi over 4 minus 2 pi. Let's see if I can get some multicolor action going on here for you all. 2 pi is over 1. We need a common denominator to subtract them. So I'll multiply this by 4 over 4. So we get 11 pi over 4 minus 2 times 4 is 8 pi over 4. So now they have a common denominator. 11 minus 8 equals 3. Woo! So that means this can now just be 3 pi over 4 instead. That's what we're going to look up on the unit circle. And 3 pi over 4 is right there. 3 pi over 4 is this thing right there. negative root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. Okay, cotangent. Now remember, cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. Tangent was supposed to be y over x, if you forgot that. Tangent is y over x, which means cotangent is going to be x over y. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take this, and we're going to take the x value over the y value. So negative root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2. X divided by y, right? X over y. Just try not to think too hard about this. Anything divided by itself is 1. So root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2 is just 1. Then you keep the negative sign, and it's just going to be negative 1. If you feel like doing algebra, you can always do keep, change, flip again. Instead of root 2 over 2, you do 2 over root 2, by flipping it up there. But then, like I said, the 2's can cancel. Root 2 over root 2 is also equal to 1, and then that negative sign is just going to come over. So your answer is just negative 1. And finally, cosine of 13 pi over 2. You can pause and try it if you want. This one has nothing new. It's just kind of like, hey, you got it. Cosine is the x value. I'll just write myself a note because I feel like it. 13 pi over 2. It's not on here. It's too big again. So I'm going to have to subtract 2 pi. Minus 2 pi. But once again, this is over 1, so you have to multiply it by 2. So really it's 4 pi over 2. You subtract it from 13 pi over 2. But then when you subtract it, 13 minus 4 is 9. And then you get 9 pi over 2. But then you look at this, and there's still no 9 pi over 2. So then, since you are allowed to subtract 2 pi as many times as you want, you subtract 4 pi over 2 again, and 9 minus 4 is 5. 5 pi over 2. Once again, you look on this, and it's not there, and by this time you're crying, and you're like, oh my god, what is wrong with this problem? Then you look back, and it's like, well, you can subtract 4 pi over 2 again, because it's still coterminal, and they go to 2 pi, and I'm sure you're 100% annoyed with my voice by now, so I'll actually stop. 5 minus 4 is 1, so you get pi over 2. And ladies and gentlemen, that is something that's actually on the unit circle right there. Pi over 2 is 0, 1. And cosine is the x value. The x value is 0, so the answer is 0. Which I'm sure is exactly how much you enjoyed my little trade right there. So that is it. Number 6 is 0, the cosine of 13 pi over 2. That's it. Okay. I hope this video has helped. And I'll just zoom out and do everything. Oh, there was one other thing I was going to do. There are only so many numbers on this. If you look at this, there is a 1, a 0, a root 3 over 2, a half, and a root 2 over 2. Everything else is just a positive or negative version of those numbers. Because of that, it means your answers are severely limited. Every single answer you will ever have about a unit circle is going to be one of the following numbers. 1, 0, root 2 over 2, root 3 over 2, a half. Those are the numbers that are on the unit circle right now. Then there's also the tangent ones, which can be root 3 or root 3 over 3. Those are the two tangents and cotangents. And then there's the secant, cosecant, reciprocal things where maybe it's undefined. Maybe it's 2 root 3 over 3, if you remember that one. And maybe it's root 3 over 3. Or did I already do that one? I already did that one. Oh, well, I should have written 2 then. So just keep in mind, your answer is always going to be plus or minus one of these numbers. Anything else is just not possible. The reciprocal of 1 is 1. The reciprocal of 0 is undefined. The reciprocal of 2 over 2 is actually one thing I didn't write down, so the square root of 2. Root 3 over 2's reciprocal is 2 root 3 over 3. 1/2's reciprocal is 2. This one's reciprocal is that. So like this is every single answer you can possibly have. So I would recommend, I don't know, like writing these numbers down or taking a picture. I don't know. Just make sure that you know that for a worksheet you do on this, your answer is written down right here, right? Plus or minus maybe, but your answer is written down here. If you get anything else, it's wrong. Anything else. These are the only things it can be. The numbers that were on the unit circle and their reciprocals. So that's it. Okay, now I'm officially done. Have a great day.